In 1968, a scientist built a perfect world, and every single one of its citizens died. Unlimited food, no predators, no disease, no winter, no hunger, no fear. It was paradise, and paradise emptied it. The victims were mice, but the man who built it was not really studying mice. He was studying us. The class of them that scared him most did not fight, did not mate, did not raise young. They only ate, slept, and groomed. He called them the beautiful ones. And if you feel a small cold click of recognition right now, that is exactly what this video is about. So let me take you inside. His name was John Calhoun, and he called it Universe 25. And he had done this before. For years, Calhoun had been building little worlds for rats, watching what crowding did to them. In 1962, he wrote it up in a famous article, and he gave the collapse a name that still sounds like a horror movie. He called it the behavioral sink, a sink like a drain. Because once the pathology started, it did not just spread, it pulled. The broken behavior sucked more and more animals down into the same spot, feeding on itself, getting worse. Universe 25 was him running that nightmare one more time, cleaner, longer, and all the way to the end. He started with 8 mice, 4 males, 4 females, dropped into a metal world about the size of a small room, and that world was built to be heaven. Food that never ran out, water on tap, a perfect temperature held forever. 256 cozy nesting apartments. No cats, no hawks, no parasites. Nothing in that universe could hurt a mouse, except another mouse. For a while, it worked exactly like you would hope. The mice explored, paired off, and started having babies. And the population did not just grow, it exploded. It doubled every 55 days. This was the good time. Calhoun called it the phase of exploiting the golden age. The population climbed past 100, past 500, past 1,000, on its way to 2,200 mice. And then, in a paradise with room for nearly 4,000, it stopped. Not because they ran out of space, because they ran out of something else. Here's the thing nobody expects. The pen was only half full. There was food for everyone. There were empty apartments. On paper, there was plenty. But there was no room left of a different kind. Every social role was already taken. Think about what a young mouse needs to become an adult. It needs a territory to defend, a place in the order, a fight to win, a mate to court, a job to do. But in Universe 25, every one of those slots was already filled by the generation before. The young mice came of age into a world that had no openings, no purpose available, nothing that needed them. Calhoun even had names for the seasons of this world. First came the Strive period, the pioneers claiming a wild new land, then the golden age of exploiting it, the population booming. But after the peak came what he called stagnation, and then, simply, the DIE phase. He watched a society move through those seasons like watching the tide go out, and it never came back in. Because a social animal with nothing to do does not just sit there quietly, it breaks. The males who lost the competition for territory did not leave because there was nowhere to go. So they withdrew. They gathered in the center of the pen in listless, passive pools, doing nothing, and then exploding into sudden pointless violence, attacking each other for no reason, and then going blank again. The females fell apart in a different way. Overwhelmed and with no male holding a safe territory around them, the mothers had to defend the nest themselves. And that aggression bled into everything. They grew hostile, then careless. They abandoned their pups. They built sloppy nests or forgot to build them at all. They weaned their babies too early or attacked them or simply walked away. Whole litters died. The most fundamental instinct a mammal has, the one thing evolution guards above all else, a mother's care, quietly switched off. And then came the generation that broke Calhoun's heart, the ones born into pure chaos who never learned any of it, never learned to court, never learned to fight, never learned to parent because no one had parented them. Some of these males found a different way to survive. They stopped trying entirely. They pulled back from all of it, the fighting, the mating, the stress of other mice, and they retreated to the safest corners of the world. And there, they did just three things. They ate, they slept, and they groomed themselves over and over into flawless condition. Their coats were perfect. No scars, no bite marks, no torn ears. They were physically the healthiest mice in the whole universe. Calhoun named them the beautiful ones. And they were completely, permanently empty. They would never mate, never fight for anything, never raise a single pup. They ate and they groomed and they existed, beautiful and useless, right up until the end. Because there was an end coming. After about day 600, in a world still overflowing with food, the mice basically stopped raising young that survived. The births dried up, the colony aged, and with no one who remembered how to be a mouse, there was no next generation to replace them. Calhoun had a chilling phrase for this. He said the mice died twice. The first death was the death of the spirit. The moment a mouse gave up on being a mouse, stopped seeking, stopped bonding, stopped trying. The second death, the death of the body, just came later to clean up. By then it was only a formality. Universe 25, the perfect world, emptied itself out to the very last mouse. Now, you have been waiting for me to say it, so let me say it. This looks a lot like US. Doesn't it? A species that evolved for scarcity and danger suddenly handed abundance and safety, withdrawal from mating, falling birth rates in exactly the richest, safest, most comfortable places on Earth, and the beautiful ones, groomed, fed, comfortable, opted out, every need met, achieving nothing, connected to no one. It is hard not to see a reflection. And notice, our crowding does not even have to be physical. A mouse was crushed by too many bodies in one pen. But you can feel crushed by too many other people while sitting completely alone. 1,000 faces a day through a screen, 1,000 strangers you will never matter to. The social overload Calhoun described was about too much unwanted contact. And we have built a machine that delivers exactly that, straight into your hand every waking hour. But here's where I have to stop you. Because this is the exact point where almost everyone gets it wrong. Universe 25 is not proof that we are doomed. Mice are not people. Humans have things a mouse does not: culture, meaning, choice, the ability to redesign our own world. When scientists actually study human crowding, the results are messy and contradictory, nothing like the clean death spiral of the pen. Anyone who tells you this experiment proves humanity is collapsing is selling you a story, not science. And there is a deeper twist, because even Calhoun did not believe the simple version. He came to think the real killer was never the crowding itself. Look closely, and the mice were not destroyed by density. They were destroyed by unavoidable, unwanted social contact, too many forced interactions, and not enough meaningful roles to go around. The problem was not too many mice in the room. It was too many mice with nothing to be, which means the lesson was never abundance kills. It was something stranger, and honestly, more useful. A creature does not thrive on comfort alone. It needs something to strive for, a role, a purpose, a fight worth having. Take away every pressure, every danger, every reason to struggle, and you do not get paradise. You get the beautiful ones. So the mouse in that story is not really a warning about how many of us there are. It is a question about what we are for. Remove every hardship from a life, and you have not necessarily saved it. Comfort was never the goal your biology was chasing. It was chasing a reason. The perfect world had everything a mouse could want, and it turned out that everything was not enough.